What's something people don't know about Colin Farrell in The Batman? Well, buckle up, because we're about to dive into the wildest, most unexpected side of his journey as Gotham's most notorious villain. You might think you know what it takes to play a character like the Penguin, but trust me, there's a lot more to it than just putting on a fancy suit and cackling in a dark alley. This is a story about transformation, obsession, and the kind of commitment that blurs the line between actor and character. It's about the sacrifices, the struggles, and the moments that almost made Farrell question if he'd bitten off more than he could chew. So, if you thought you knew what went on behind the scenes, get ready to have your mind blown. Exposing the real story behind his time as Penguin. Farrell's transformation wasn't just a physical one, it was a total mind-bender. Imagine showing up to work every day, knowing you're about to spend hours in a makeup chair, slowly disappearing under layers of latex, glue, and paint. That's dedication on a whole new level. But it wasn't just about the makeup, it was about the mental preparation, the emotional toll, and the sheer willpower it took to become someone else entirely. Farrell had to dig deep, finding parts of himself he didn't even know existed, just to bring this iconic villain to life. Get ready, because this confession is wild. Farrell didn't just slip into the Penguin's shoes, he practically vanished into the role. The process was so intense, he said, that by the time he looked in the mirror, he barely recognized the person staring back at him. It was like meeting a stranger every single day. And it wasn't just him, people on set would do double takes, sometimes not even realizing it was Farrell under all that makeup. The transformation was so convincing, it blurred the line between reality and fiction, making everyone question what was real and what was just movie magic. Okay, let's set the scene real quick. Picture the dark, rain-soaked streets of Gotham, the air thick with tension and mystery. Now, add a villain so convincing, even the cast and crew did double takes when he walked by. That's the level of transformation we're talking about here. The city itself became a character, and Farrell's Penguin fit right in, menacing, unpredictable, and larger than life. Every detail, from the way he walked to the way he spoke, was carefully crafted to make you believe you were really seeing Oswald Cobblepot in the flesh. Colin Farrell, yeah, that guy with the killer Irish accent, isn't just playing any villain. He's taking on one of Batman's most iconic foes, and he's doing it with a level of commitment that's honestly kind of mind-blowing. Farrell's known for his intense roles, but this one pushed him to his limits in ways he never expected. He's always been a chameleon, but this time he had to completely lose himself, adopting new mannerisms, a new voice, and even a new way of thinking. It was a challenge unlike anything he'd faced before, and it forced him to grow not just as an actor, but as a person. He's the infamous Oswald Cobblepot, aka the Penguin, in Gotham's latest big-screen adventure. But this isn't your cartoonish, umbrella-twirling penguin from the old days. Farrell's version is gritty, raw, and totally unrecognizable. He brings a new depth to the character, making him both terrifying and strangely sympathetic. This Penguin is a product of Gotham's darkness, a survivor, a schemer, and a man with a past that's as twisted as the city itself. Farrell wanted to show the pain behind the villainy, the humanity behind the monster, and he poured every ounce of himself into making that happen. But here's the twist. Farrell recently admitted in an interview that getting into character was, in his words, the most uncomfortable, bonkers experience ever. He described the process as claustrophobic, saying the prosthetics felt like a second skin he couldn't escape from. Every day he'd sit for hours as the makeup team worked their magic, transforming him from a charming Irishman into Gotham's most feared mobster. The process was so intense, he sometimes felt like he was suffocating, trapped beneath layers of rubber and paint. It was a test of endurance, both physically and mentally, and there were days when he wondered if he could keep going. He said it was so intense he barely recognized himself under all that prosthetic makeup. Sometimes he'd catch his reflection and do a double take, wondering if he'd ever see his real face again. The transformation was so complete, even his co-stars had trouble spotting the real Colin beneath the Penguin's scowl. It was like living in someone else's skin, and it took a toll on his sense of self. Farrell joked that he started to forget what he actually looked like, and that the Penguin's face became more familiar than his own. The makeup team deserves a standing ovation for their work. Farrell said the process could take up to 4 hours each day, and by the end, he felt like he was wearing a mask that changed not just his appearance, but the way he moved, spoke, and even thought. It was a total transformation, inside and out. The prosthetics were so detailed, every wrinkle and scar told a story, and Farrell had to learn how to express emotion through layers of latex. It was a masterclass in acting, and a testament to the power of collaboration between actor and artist. Fans went nuts. Some thought he was joking, others totally related to his struggle. Social media exploded with reactions as people tried to wrap their heads around just how far Farrell went for the role. Some fans even started sharing their own stories of uncomfortable costumes and wild transformations, turning the whole thing into a viral moment. The buzz was electric, with people debating whether this was the best Penguin ever, or if it was just too much. Either way, everyone agreed. Farrell's commitment was next level. The memes? Oh, they were flying faster than a batarang. People compared Farrell's Penguin to everything from classic mob bosses to cartoon villains, and the internet had a field day with his dramatic new look. But behind the jokes, there was a real sense of awe at the lengths he went to for authenticity. The memes became a way for fans to process the shock, to celebrate the transformation, and to show their appreciation for an actor who was willing to go all in, no matter the cost. But honestly, you gotta respect the honesty. Farrell didn't sugarcoat anything. He was upfront about how tough the process was, and how it pushed him to his limits. In an industry where actors often pretend everything is glamorous, his candor was a breath of fresh air. He talked openly about the days when he wanted to rip the prosthetics off, the moments when he felt overwhelmed, and the times when he wondered if it was all worth it. That kind of vulnerability is rare, and it made his performance even more powerful. In fact, Farrell said that the discomfort actually helped him get into character. Feeling trapped and uncomfortable made it easier to channel the Penguin's frustration and rage. It's a classic case of art imitating life, and it gave his performance an edge that audiences won't soon forget. He used the physical pain and emotional strain as fuel, turning every moment of discomfort into a deeper, more authentic portrayal of Gotham's most tortured villain. Farrell even shared some behind-the-scenes stories, like pranking the crew with his Penguin voice. He'd sneak up on people, drop a gravelly one-liner, and watch them jump out of their skin. It became a running joke on set, and even the director couldn't keep a straight face sometimes. These moments of levity were crucial, helping everyone cope with the intensity of the shoot, and reminding them that, at the end of the day, they were all just people trying to tell a great story. Because hey, even Gotham's villains need a good laugh, right? The set was full of intense moments, but Farrell made sure there was always room for a little mischief. It's proof that even when you're playing a dark, twisted character, you can still have fun with it. The camaraderie on set was real, and it helped everyone stay grounded, even as they delved into the darkest corners of Gotham's underworld. The director, Matt Reeves, praised Farrell's dedication, saying he brought a level of realism and unpredictability to the Penguin that elevated the entire film. The cast and crew were constantly surprised by his commitment, and many said it inspired them to push their own performances even further. Reeves described Farrell as a force of nature, someone who brought out the best in everyone around him, and who never settled for anything less than perfection. So, with all this hype and behind-the-scenes drama, the big question is, are you hyped or nervous to see Farrell's Penguin in action? Will his wild transformation pay off, or will it be too much for fans to handle? The anticipation is real, and the debate is heating up online. Some people can't wait to see this new take on the character, while others are worried it might be too much of a departure from the Penguin they know and love. Either way, one thing's for sure, this is a performance that's going to get people talking. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Are you excited to see a totally new take on the Penguin, or do you miss the old school version? Let's get the conversation going. Your opinion could be the one that changes someone's mind. And if you've ever had to wear an uncomfortable costume or transform yourself for a role, share your story. We want to hear about your own wild experiences and what you think makes a truly great villain. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that bell for more juicy Batman news. Stay Bat-tastic. There's so much more to uncover about Gotham's dark corners, and you won't want to miss a single update. Thanks for watching, and remember, sometimes the real story is even crazier than the movie. And who knows, maybe the next time you see Colin Farrell on screen, you'll look a little closer, wondering just how far he's willing to go for his art. Until next time, keep your eyes peeled for more behind-the-scenes secrets and epic transformations from the world of superheroes and villains.